WRC Rally friends, and welcome to the service park here in Salau. It's our end of day one review. I'm Colin Clark, and joining me this evening once again, Luke Barry. Luke, we've had an interesting day out in the stages today.
We have, as always. It's been a great day of World Rally Championship action, and you can't convey it on the camera, but the mugginess we have here, Colin, suggests, you like that word? Mugginess.
I do like that word, yeah.
Suggests the kind of toing and froing of the rain we've had today. We expected showers. We maybe didn't get quite as much as we thought we would, but it has affected the running nonetheless.
Well, it did, and it affected really what went on. Started very early this morning. It was dark as the cars left service this morning, and there was a lot of debate in particular about the conditions on the opening two stages. Remember, the opening two stages of the day were new to all our crews. Stage 3, well, they'd have recognised that, but it was running the opposite direction. So yeah, we talked a lot about tyre choice, Luke, and you're right. Did it play much into the proceedings this morning? I'm not sure it did. I'm not sure there was a perfect tyre choice and a wrong tyre choice.
No,
it was all a compromise.
I would agree. Yeah, we saw a little bit of deviation. Some guys went with 3 softs, 3 hards. Others went for more hards. There were 4 softs and
4 hards, 2 softs.
Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want. But as I say, it didn't make too much difference. There was a little bit of rain, a little bit of dampness in the first one, but it dried out a little bit. And even this afternoon, it hasn't. Yes, there's been a couple of rain showers, and we did see a slightly bolder choice from the M Sport cars with 5 hard tyres and no softs. But really, there wasn't that much rain. It would have been too big a problem, I don't think.
No, it really wasn't. And there wasn't one obvious winner in terms of the tyres. But at the end of the day, there is an obvious winner in terms of performance out there. It's been Toyota's day. We look clearly at Ogier and Rovanperä, and you look at the results at the end of the day and you think, yeah, they've both got 12 seconds over Tanak, they've got 20 seconds, or 12 seconds over Neuville, they've got 20 seconds over Tanak. But that doesn't tell the whole story, because this morning it looks as if it was going Hyundai's way. What do you put that down to? What did we see changing in the afternoon?
Well, we were discussing this on the way back to service, and Colin had a bit of a theory that essentially the Toyota's pace probably kind of similar to where it was. Cowie did talk a little bit about the tyres and conditions coming back to him more than they had done, but it just seemed like Hyundai had a great pace this morning, slipped back a little bit through various issues. We've seen a couple of hybrid problems today for Tanak, and I don't know, it's one of those days, isn't it? I think now we're kind of looking at it, nothing is over, but going into tomorrow where they know the stages so well, it's looking like it's going to be a Toyota victory unless something happens.
Well, that's a big call. That's a very big call at this early stage. We talked about that compromised tyre choice. I don't think the Toyota's got it wrong this morning, but I think what happens is the car didn't work quite so well on those tyres. I don't think it was the wrong choice. I think it was the right choice for the conditions, but the whole package didn't work quite so well. This afternoon, on the harder compound tyres, the package worked better, and the Toyota showed better pace out there, and that is why Sébastien Ogier is leading the way. But you've got to give it to him. He comes back, first tarmac rally since Monte Carlo, don't forget, and he's leading at the end of day one. Some performance from the champ.
So for sure, I'm happy with that day, especially as we knew it was maybe not straightforward starting 7 on the road. So it's very positive, but the gap are close, so tomorrow we'll have to do about the same. I had a little bit of a worry this afternoon where the car stopped between 2 stages, and we had to mechanic a little bit and solve an error with a sensor problem, I guess. So it was a bit of a scary moment when the car will not start for maybe, 12-15 minutes. So I'm happy that the team on the phone could support and help us solving the problem.
As you say, it'd been Monte Carlo January since October, so 9 months without out of the car. He was obviously quick on the Monte, so maybe something works for him quite well on the tarmac. There isn't any. Well, I was going to say there wasn't too much road position. 7th this morning with some of the cuts. It wasn't the best place for him to be.
He was compromised this morning. Don't forget. Listen, I forgot. He was compromised this morning. The road got messier. He'd have been quicker had he been at the front. So you add all that together, and yes, a fantastic performance from Ogier.
Indeed. As you say, it's quite an interesting battle developing there between him and his, I was going to call him the young pretender team. He's not pretender anymore, is he? He's got the championship, but we've got the battle of the 2 world champions out there at Toyota. So the stages tomorrow, they are ones that the driver's done so many times. Rovanperä has done them before, but only once in a top-line car, because it wasn't run in 2020. So, as you say, nothing's impossible. You can never rule Cowie out, but
absolutely not.
You would, on current form, Ogier's looked sharp, he's looked fit, he's looked up for it. He probably does have the advantage tomorrow.
I think he does. I really do think that Ogier has a relatively big advantage tomorrow. Your margins are so minute on this type of rallying. You've got to take everything you can, and Ogier, with his knowledge of the stages, will be able to push. But does Rovanperä think his chances are over? This is what he had to say.
Yeah, good day overall if we just take out the long stage on the morning loop where we lost a bit of time, but other than that, all good.
A proper fight ahead between yourself and Seb. Now, tomorrow's stages, we know Seb knows like the back of his hand. Could be difficult to catch him on those stages.
Yeah, I think so. It will be. He has been driving them even more than me, so yeah, it's not easy. Everybody knows this stages tomorrow, but yeah, I think it's gonna be just a factor of who has the best feeling and who will take the most risk, because everybody will know the stages and there is no need for pace notes really.
So we can't really wrap up the Toyota section without mentioning, obviously, Elfyn Evans. Okay, he's had a puncture out there today that compromised him, but even before the puncture, again, sadly, not looking 100% comfortable.
No, it's kind of been the story of his season, hasn't it? And we were talking about this in the preview video yesterday, and that sometimes he's there, but he's just not quite able to reach Kawi and
it's not
pace.
that far away.
No.
It's really not that far away, but it isn't yet rally-winning pace.
Yeah, it's enough to make a difference, isn't it? And that's the thing. So I think from memory, he was around about 10 seconds off the lead before he got his puncture, and now I think he's about a minute back now. So it's going to be tough for him from there. But as you say, I think it was Tom Fowler that said it to us after New Zealand, that he almost needs just a complete reset, a clean slate where the points are off the board, all of that things, all the baggage from the year is out, just start again, because we all know he's got it, we've seen it in the past, it's just nothing's quite coming quite together for him.
I think it was just over 14, just under 15 seconds he was off the lead, by the way. Not to put you right, young pretender, but you know how it is.
Please do put me right.
Something I can't remember exactly, but round about that, but you're quite right. He needs something to change, for sure. Elfyn Evans, maybe it is just luck. I think it's confidence. Let's talk about Hyundai. Strong morning for Hyundai. Neuville was strong, Tanak was strong, but they did have small issues out there this morning.
Yeah, we saw Thierry, and it was quite a strange one for hear a driver talk about the engine mapping being a bit too soft, I think was the word he used, which we got an explainer from Julien Moncey. It's like, essentially, it's just to do with all the power. He didn't have enough power, and it was a decision that Thierry himself had made. Absolutely. It wasn't a team thing, this was his preference to the driver, so that kind of set off the wrong tone. But as he did lead when we came here, only by half a second, but I want to say he had the lead.
He's a lead.
But this afternoon, as we sort of mentioned at the top of this, he just didn't quite have the grip, the confidence, and it's been a bit of a bugbear of the car all season. It's just sometimes, and in some conditions it works brilliantly and it's absolutely dead on the money, but when they're not quite feeling it, the rear's a bit loose maybe, it's just not giving the confidence he needs, and these small differences can be everything to
on tarmac. They are absolutely everything. If the car's being even fractionally unpredictable on tarmac with it, as we've talked about, the tiny, we saw it Tanak, didn't we, in Finland, absolutely prepared to take every risk and to accept that things were going to happen that he wasn't expecting, but he knew he could deal with them. He had that little margin. On tarmac, you don't have any margin. So if the car's being unpredictable, you have no choice but to throttle back a little bit. We maybe saw a little bit of that this afternoon, perhaps, from Thierry Neuville. Tanak, though, well, he's dropped to nearly 20 seconds off the lead. Once again, hybrid issues. And other little issues, I suspect, but hybrid issues, disappointing for Tanak.
Yeah, maybe we suggest that Compact Dynamics may be on top of Tanak's Christmas card list for this December.
Bold prediction, but probably right.
But I would say, I think the gap between him and Thierry is around about 7-8 seconds, so without the hybrid problems, he could have been with his teammate or potentially ahead. I don't think it would have been quite enough to be with the leaders, as you say. There's been a couple things not been 100% with, but on stages like this, coming out with all the grip, you need that power to boost you out the corner, and without it, as he said quite a few times, he's carrying the 100 kilos of weight for nothing. So it's typifying his mood at the moment, I think, for Tanak. Things just aren't quite rosy in his camp, shall we say.
I think you're absolutely right. And it's a battle for Tanak. And we know he's a fighter. He's the warrior of the WRC. He fights through everything like Tanak. But I think on tarmac, I think maybe, he'll still be hoping for a podium, that is for sure. Tell you what we did. We did catch up with Thierry Neuville. Almost forgot. Let's hear what he had to say.
Seems like they just had a little bit more performance than us. I was struggling to feel the limit. Where is the limit of the car and how hard I can actually push. So I think just missing a bit of feedback. We need to work a bit on the setup as well for tomorrow. I think that sometimes a bit too much on off, and that's where you here and there slow down a bit more than you should, and that makes a difference.
So what about Danny Sordo then in the third of the Hyundais? Oh dear, it just hasn't happened from out there today, has it? You know, another one who suffered with a puncture, I have to say, but he wasn't really that close when he had that puncture, was he? Disappointing for all the Sordo fans here.
I think so, and for all events, we've seen it throughout the year a little bit that he's kind of struggled to be right bang on the pace on a Friday, but here, on his home turf in Spain, a rally he's on, I think, probably more times than any other.
19 times you told me.
19 times, yeah, and again, if that's wrong, someone definitely please tell us in the comments.
Well, you know where to go to double check that.
WRCresults.com.
Correct, but it must be around about 19, and disappointing. He has such an enormous fan base here. But Sordo's season has been all about consistency. He sticks at it, doesn't take any undue risks, and he makes his way up the leaderboard because others do drop out and have issues. Let's see what he can do over the rest of the course of the rally. M Sport, let's end with talking about M Sport. Craig Breen, you know, he needs a good rally. He needed a good one here. We know that Breen loves the tarmac. He comes from Irish tarmac. He can perform, he can... How many podiums has he had? He's had a number of podiums on tarmac in the past. My goodness me. He looked lost at times out there today.
Yeah, not a day he'll want to be remembering for too long, I don't think. It's hard to say what happened, to be honest, because the car...
Well, it's a litany of issues, and he's given us all of them. He's given us all of them. Tarmac, not been here since 2018. Wet tarmac. What else did we talk about? Pace notes were wrong. And then there was something else. What was the other thing we talked about? I can't remember, but there are a number of reasons why Craig Breen hasn't performed as we would have liked him to out there today. He's in the middle of a very difficult spell just now, and he needs something just to remind him of how great he is and what he's capable of.
I think so, and we mentioned it with Evans before, with that sort of ability to need a reset and want the reset and benefit from a clean slate. We obviously know Craig's going to get that in a sense in Japan with a new co-driver coming in, but he's another one. There's a lot of expectation on him this year. We all know it hasn't quite gone together. He just needs... it's difficult because we say this almost every rally now. He just needs something like something divine from the gods above, or just anything to sort of turn around for him. Because at the minute, he's not the driver we all know we can be.
He's the same man. He's the same man, but he's a different driver.
Yeah.
You know, so he has it within him. That's for sure. You might look at it and say it's been a disappointing day for M Sport. They will be a little disappointed with where they're at the end of the day, but a real bright spark, a real moment of real form for them in that final stage. Pierre-Louis Loubet, third fastest through the final stage. What does that tell you? It tells you that that car is still very, very capable because everyone was on it. There weren't so many punctures, I don't think, in that final stage to talk about. You know, those were all genuine times from the other top boys. Loubet comes in with a third quickest time. Again, it'll just... Malcolm Wilson will be going, well, you know, there's never been any question about this car. It can perform.
Yeah, well, this is it. It's maybe part of the frustration with everything. We all know M Sport's not operating on the same plane in terms of budget to its rivals, so its driver roster probably isn't quite as decorated, shall we say, as the others. But as you say,
it's a good way of putting it.
Thank you. And Younger Pretender's learning something. It'll take me 10 minutes.
Every day's a learning day.
That's it. He's been telling me this all weekend. But it's greatly encouraging, as you say. It's not a podium place, but a top 3 stage time. It shows it's there. And Loubet, another one that it's a shame he had his puncture because he could have been a bit closer. Obviously, had he not had that.
Yeah, but there we go. So a fascinating opening day here in Spain, folks. A lot more to come tomorrow. We have a day more or less, okay, there's only 3 stages in the loop. There were 4 today. In terms of distance, within a few hundred meters of each other, aren't they? We have another 118 plus kilometers to come tomorrow. Who will make the most of the opportunity? Well, my money is very much on Ogier. The place to be, though, for all the action, all the drama, all the stories as they unfold is...
WRC.com.